Okay, so this video is mainly towards, the other powder coaters out there, guys looking to get into powder coating, but it also goes for the guys that maybe just have a sandblaster for some, if they paint or restore cars or parts at their house. But this is the Harbor Freight blaster, pop blaster. It's the 110 pound. It's been a really great unit for me so far. So, if you're looking to upgrade to getting a blast pot, like if you're just using a cabinet right now with the siphon feed, I'd highly recommend one of these. If you already have one of these, then you're gonna wanna follow along on this to upgrade it. I've already done a couple things. I've got this upgraded hose, and then I added some different wheels, and I kind of raised it up a little bit, and that helps a lot. Pulling it through the grass and stuff like that, which is also going to help for the next upgrade we're going to do. We're going to change the valves out on us. Just comes with these little cheap valves from Harbor Freight. We're going to upgrade it. It's definitely not a professional level unit, but it gets the job done for what it is. So, okay, so these should be all the fittings that we need to make it work, plus maybe a couple that are actually on the pot blaster itself. But this is going to be the bottom assembly where your media falls through, and then where your air feeds it, and then goes to your blast hose. One of these is going to be for the input air shut-off valve, and then one of these is going to be for the air that feeds the blast hose. I got all this stuff at Lowe's. I'll have to add it up to get to an exact price. It was a little bit more than what I anticipated on spending for a bunch of fittings, but it's what it is. These were a little bit more than what I wanted to spend too, but it's all I could find to make the hose that it came with work and keep it 3/8. But, if you order the stuff online, you're a little bit more patient than I am. You could probably save you a couple bucks. But I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse this while I get this together. Another note, make sure, you put Teflon tape on it all, which you should already be doing if you're messing with airlines, and stuff like that. But, yeah, let's get into it. We're going to get these together, and then we're going to get them on the actual pot blaster. After you get all your fittings together, you're going to end up with something like this. This goes to the bottom of your blast pot. This goes to the air hose off the ball valve that controls how much airflow you have. And then this is going to go to your blast hose. And I should have mentioned earlier, but this is actually going to be a 1/2-inch ball valve instead of the 3/8 that comes on it. So hopefully it'll help with some of the clogging and stuff that you might tend to have on some fresh media, or some media that actually has maybe some pieces in it from previous blasted if you're reusing. So we're gonna see how this works. Okay, now we're gonna work on the other ball valves. I just went ahead and went with also 3/8 ball valves is what's on it, but these are just a lot better quality than the ones that come with it. The ones that come with it are real cheesy and flimsy. Should have upgraded them a long time ago, but I haven't, so I'm getting to it today. But another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to add these quick connects to that air hose that's on the back. When you're putting it together, at least the last time I took it apart and put it back together, the hose got all twisted and it was real pain. So I was just gonna make a quick connect just so I can put it together and not have to worry about hoses twisting on me. So we're gonna get a couple of these put together. Then we'll start getting everything on the blast pot. All stripped down so we can get the new parts on. It's still got sand in it, so it might make a little bit of a mess, but we'll just clean that up when we're done. Okay, so we got the blast pod all put back together. It turned out really good. You can see right here, there's a lot of slack in this hose, which isn't an issue unless you're OCD. But this is where I was talking about that quick connect, because the factory one, or the one that comes directly from Harbor Freight, it twists up and you have to like untwist it before you screw it in. At least from what I found, there was no actual like free spin pieces on here. So that was just my quick solution to that. It cost a little bit extra money because I went with the 3/8 coupler. Even though it's got 1/4 inch threads, it's still a lot more open than the 1/4 inch couplers. But put a lot nicer ball valves on it. And then the bottom down here, you can see how that turned out with the 1/2 inch ball valve. Should work a lot better than before. We're fixing to get it tied up to the blast cabinet and give it a try and see how it turns out, or see how it does. But another thing is, if you're still using the nozzle that came with it, I would suggest this one right here. These nozzles right here, they last a really long time. I couldn't even put a number on how many hours I blasted through this. And I mean, it wears out from the back side, but I mean, it still looks really good. The only thing you really need to replace on these every now and then is these ball valves, but those are fairly inexpensive for as long as they do last. So I'm gonna keep using this until I find something else I like better, but for the money, I can't complain about it. So let's go ahead and get in the blast cabinet and we're gonna see how it does. So here's the parts after blasting. The first one we did was this. It was just a piece of raw square tubing with a little bit of rust on it. You can see it clean that up pretty well and pretty quick. The second piece we did was this one. It had powder coat on it over just bare square tubing that was it was just cleaned up, so there was no rust on it. Took that off pretty well too. You know, not as fast as the raw square tubing, but still not terrible, and it cleaned up pretty well. And the last thing we did was this. This is actually for the sidecar parts. I do a lot of these. These have like some mill scale on them that's made for, I guess, I don't know if it's a certain type of way they order the metal or not, but they have these cut out on a water jet. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it's got some pretty thick mill scale on there. And then he has these shafts where bearings go. So I taped these off with duct tape, but it took this off pretty well. And then another thing, side note, I used to use just cheap duct tape, the cheapest one I could find at the store, to tape this off, and it would the edges would kind of get beat up pretty good. This go around, I went ahead and got some Gorilla Tape, and it seems to hold up a lot better. So it's a little bit more expensive, but you know, it's definitely, I'm gonna say, worth it, because then it doesn't look like I'm gonna have to clean up these edges on here because they look pretty clean still. So, but I would definitely recommend those upgrades to the blast pot if you haven't done them already. It's going to make you a lot happier with your setup. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and be ready for the next video.